About a month or so ago, we find out on Saturday night's main event that there will be a tournament to determine John Cena's final opponent. Coming up on December the 13th, Saturday night's main event, live from Washington, D.C. And after a couple weeks, we finally saw the bracket. And you see here, this is a glimpse, after the first round, several participants. We're going to go through this bracket here in just a minute. But it ended up coming down to, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, LA Knight and Gunther. With Gunther being victorious and will now battle John Cena coming up this Saturday. So how do we feel about Gunther being John Cena's final opponent? Well, I've already told you how I would have booked it. This is not exactly how I would have booked it. I'm not saying Gunther was the bad choice. Andy and I spoke about this last week. Andy and I have spoken about it for the last month or so, that Gunther was probably the man to win this tournament. But another feeling that comes up when I think about this tournament is how much I hate the internet. You guys hear me talk all the time on this podcast. If you're new to this podcast, maybe this is news to you. But if you've been around here for a minute, you know that we don't like internet rumors and we don't like spoilers. And the dirt sheets just ruin wrestling, if I'm being honest. And I know that my audience is on the internet. I get that. But this is also my show. And if I didn't voice my true opinion, it wouldn't be a good show. It wouldn't be entertaining. So, the internet, a long time ago, I think even before Gunther went out with his nose injury, said that Gunther was going to be an opponent on John Cena's farewell tour. Okay. I think we all wanted that. Definitely a opposites attract kind of thing. Contrasting styles, if you will, between John Cena and Gunther. So certainly a match that we want to see. Old school, new school, whole 9 yards. So certainly a match that we want to see. But then the internet obviously spoiled a long time ago this tournament concept. So when Gunther goes out, we don't see him for a long time. Obviously, you put two and two together, Gunther's going to win this tournament. Now, also, you look at the participants in this tournament, which again, we're going to talk about those here in just a minute. But it was pretty obvious this thing was coming down to Gunther and LA Knight. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, they're not ready to pull the trigger on LA Knight for some reason. So Gunther, the ring general, is the final opponent for John Cena. And again, I'm not upset by this. I think this is going to be a fantastic match. And I think it's probably the right opponent for John Cena because Gunther also ended Goldberg's career earlier this year. And now if he ends John Cena, he's going to end John Cena and Goldberg's career in the same year. And we're headed towards a 2-night SummerSlam in Minneapolis coming up this year. Whose hometown is Minneapolis? Brock Lesnar. So if you play your cards right, if we're playing long-term chess here, we're building up Gunther to be this career killer. And then maybe he faces Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam and ends Brock Lesnar's career as well. A lot of people don't like this. A lot of people aren't fans of this. A lot of people think that John Cena should pass the torch to a younger guy. Well, as Sam Roberts said on his show earlier today, when you pass the torch is already burning. It's not like you're passing a torch that is not lit, or you're passing a torch that can be lit in 2 to 3 years. No. You're passing an already burning torch. John Cena's already passed that torch to Cody Rhodes. He did that at SummerSlam. That's done. So this is not like a John Cena versus Javon Evans kind of situation. Or John Cena versus Carmelo Hayes in the finals. And those guys are going to beat him. No. Gunther is an established star. Gunther is an established heel. Think about this. For those of you who might be upset, let me just paint some logic for you about why Gunther is probably the best choice to face John Cena. What is the wrestling world based on? Storytelling, right? Good guys and bad guys. And the majority of wrestling, let's call it 75 to 85% of wrestling, the story is based around this big, bad, dastardly heel that everybody pays money to see the babyface whip. And in the olden days, in the 70s and 80s, Ric Flair was that heel. Nick Bockwinkel was that heel that everybody paid to see Ray Stevens, to see Dusty Rhodes, to see Ricky Steamboat, to see Sting. Go get those heels. And they thought, man, this is the night. This is the one. They're finally going to lose. And what would happen? 45-minute Broadway. DQ. Count out. Oh, the babyface wins, but they don't win the championship. The heel champion escapes. So that legend that wrestling was built on continued in the 90s with Hulk Hogan as Hollywood Hogan. WCW stayed, their business stayed alive for a year and a half on Sting chasing Hogan. For a year and a half. Fast forward to WWE, Brock Lesnar. After beating The Undertaker. He's that heel that everybody chased. Roman Reigns just got out of a 1,300-day championship reign as what? A heel. Biggest business WWE has ever done coming out of the pandemic with Roman Reigns as champion. As a what? As a heel. Now, I know most of the argument is not that John Cena can't lose to a heel. But guys, it's Wrestling 101. As much as I wanted LA Knight to beat John Cena in his final match, it's traditional. Babyface versus heel. And John Cena's going out on his back. And he said it publicly that Triple H wanted to do an entire Saturday night's main event dedicated to John Cena. And he said, no. I don't want to do that. I want to showcase NXT talent. We're going to talk about some of that NXT talent here in just a little bit. But John Cena made that call. And if John Cena makes the call in this final match against Gunther, John Cena is going out on his back. Gunther is the same way as all those heels. He's the no fun guy. We're excited about John Cena. We want to see John Cena. Boom. Gunther going to put him down. Gunther's going to ruin our fun. Just like he did when he choked out Jey Uso to win the championship back. Just like he did when he choked out LA Knight the other night. I will say this. I hope Gunther does not choke out John Cena in his final match. I really hope that doesn't happen. I think it needs to be a pinfall victory. I do not need to see John Cena tap out. I don't need to see John Cena pass out. But I do believe that Gunther will win John Cena's final match. Now, obviously we'll celebrate John Cena after that. Will there be some aftermath? Who knows? We'll be tuned in right there to watch it. We'll be tuned in right here live on Squared Circle Radio. The plan is to go live immediately following Saturday night's main event as we celebrate John Cena's final match and what we witnessed. And then I already mentioned the Hall of Fame induction next week. The week following that, the week of Christmas, we will drop a John Cena retrospect episode. It'll be myself and Andy York, and we're going to talk all about John Cena's career, some of our favorite matches, favorite moments, favorite opponents, and we'll dive into his controversial retirement run. So, John Cena retrospect coming up the week of Christmas. So don't miss that.